Hey, Rich Babes. Today we're going to dive into a topic that's very heavy because it's so critical for every woman to hear. We're talking about men who unalive their girlfriends when they decide to leave. This is a cautionary tale, and I want to be upfront. Trigger warning is in full effect. If this is too much for you, please take care of yourself and just skip this video. And for the rest of us who can hold it, let's begin. It's very heartbreaking to think about, but the reality is these situations happen more often than we think. A lot of women find themselves in relationships with men who cannot handle rejection, who see their partner wanting to leave as a threat, who might result into violence. But today we're going to focus on recognizing the warning signs and understanding how to protect yourself. First, let's understand the psychology behind these men. Many of them are deeply insecure and possessive. They may suffer from abandonment issues or extreme need for control. When they feel their partner is slipping away, they panic. Their self-worth is often tied to their partner, and they see the end of the relationships as the end of themselves. This doesn't excuse their behavior, nothing does, but it helps us understand why some men might result into extreme measures. They may view leaving as a loss of control or a blow to their ego. For them, the thought of their partners moving on, loved ones, loving someone else, or just being free is unbearable. And some of them would rather destroy that person than to let them go. I have some signs to watch out for, but let's get into these videos and I will come back at the end with my commentary. Ladies, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. But most importantly, have these discussions with your daughters. Have these discussions with also your sons, because it is very, 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 very common. And honestly, this was a hard video for me to even create because I'm so sensitive. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so many cases that I found. And I'm like, this is not even my reality because I'm not even in the dating pool, but I definitely understand. And I have a story for you at the end of these videos. So I'll come back and let's begin. Again, trigger warning. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. And I just realized, so I did a poll yesterday and I asked you guys, what is the first video you would like to see? And 54% of you asked to see this video. So I'm listening to my voters. All right, let's get started.
This is the story of Nadramo Ajay, aged 24, a pretty young lady who was killed by her would-be boyfriend who she went on a date with. The beautiful cosmetologist was killed by someone she went on a romantic date with. He spiked her drink hoping it would make it easy for him to have intercourse with her afterwards, but unfortunately, her body could not handle the potent level, making her experience cardiac arrest that she wasn't able to recover from, thereby killing her.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me.
This case will be taking us to Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati is a city located in the southwestern part of the state of Ohio. Cincinnati is the largest metropolitan area in Ohio. It is a city of over 300,000 residents. Cincinnati is most known for its rich German heritage, unique chili, and as the origin of America's oldest baseball team. It's home to America's oldest baseball team, the Cincinnati Red Stockings, which was found in 1869. Nadramo Ajay was born on March 28, 1995 and was affectionately known by her friends as Nini or Awofejua. She was a young lady of Ghanaian descent who lived in the States. She is the daughter of Pastor Glitter Soa Ajay. She and her parents were based in the city of Cincinnati, Ohio. Nini was a popular person on all social media platforms. She was into beauty as a whole but mostly spent her time as a hairstylist. She owned the salon called Ahoof Styles. She showcased some of her handwork on social media.
Yes. so cute.
Nini is also known to have trained as a pharmacy technician. She was said to be a very happy, outgoing, energetic and sweet young lady.
Now, I just saw the story about this Tennessee Titan scout by the name of Blae Taylor. Now, Blae Taylor is being accused of spiking his girlfriend's drink, which caused her unaliving and the unaliving of their child. Now, I do have a clip from his bail hearing, and check out what her best friend had to say.
An emotional Nini Jackson faced the courtroom Thursday, remembering her lifelong best friend, Jade Benning.
And as I'm talking to her, she was not necessarily responding back to me.
As new details come out in the case of Blae Taylor, the man arrested in connection with the deaths of Jade and their unborn child.
And as she was saying, my drink tasted funny, I can't even walk straight, you did this so something could happen to the baby.
The night in February Jade went to the hospital, her best friend told the judge she got a phone call and overheard Jade and Blaze in conversation.
She started to say, you did this to me. You put something in my drink. I knew my drink tasted funny. I was like, Jade. She stopped responding.
Now, after their best friend had spoke, the homicide detective had took this witness stand in the bond hearing for Blae Taylor, and he stated that it looked like some cleanup had been done when he got there. Now, when the prosecutor, who's currently covering this case, got up to speak to the judge, and she stated that they had never seen a case like this in their county. The prosecutor also stated that it did seem premeditated because when Blaze, the guy, and Jade had ended up at the hospital because her parents told him, call the hospital, and they asked him when he got on the phone with her parents, what happened to her? He told them it was COVID. This is Blaze's attorney, and she stated that there wasn't enough evidence to even hold him for a bond, he should be held without bond or have a lowered bond, or something of that nature. And the judge stated that he couldn't decide at the time. So on May 9th, they're going to be back in court to determine if he's going to get a bond. Blaze is facing 2 counts of premeditated unaliving, and he's still currently sitting in jail, and we don't know until May 9th if he's going to get a bond. But this story seems really interesting, so I'm going to keep you guys posted.
I was tagged in this post on Twitter. The last words of Jade Benning were, "My drink tasted funny." Pregnant woman's last words revealed after alleged fatal poisoning by boyfriend. Now, I did talk about this story when it first hit in March. Blae Taylor is charged with 2 counts of first-degree unaliving in what police say was premeditated unaliving. And she wanted to show a better picture. She shows a picture down below. She says, "This is a better picture from local news coverage. The judge did not set bond yet. Blaze will be in court for another hearing on May 9th. Homicide is the leading cause of death for pregnant women or those who've just given birth." We're just putting that out there because so many people are wringing their hands over the birth rate. And, we've been talking about 4B and women deciding to leave men alone and not have babies, not get married. And we've also been talking about bears versus man. And this is an unbear. This is an unbear, and he took out his girlfriend and his unborn child. This unbear. A bear didn't do it. This man did. Okay, so the story that hit back in March, former college football player charged with fatally poisoning his girlfriend and her unborn baby. Blae Taylor, a former college football player for Arkansas State, has been arrested and charged for his alleged involvement in the death of his girlfriend and her unborn fetus. The Metropolitan Nashville Police Department said in a statement that Taylor, 28, had been arrested on Thursday after being indicted in the 2023 deaths of his girlfriend and her child, whom he is alleged to have fathered. A Nashville grand jury indictment charged him with 2 counts of first-degree unaliving for the deaths. Per police, Taylor is being held without bond. Taylor is alleged to have poisoned girlfriend Jade Benning without her knowledge while visiting her Lebanon Pike apartment in February 2023. Benning was later rushed to a hospital that night after Taylor contacted authorities to tell them she had appeared to be having an allergic reaction. Her baby died 2 days later, and then she died March 6, 2023. They noted that they were not able to interview her before her death. Police did not release any further details surrounding the alleged poisoning of Benning and her child. Taylor, police said, moved to Utah after the 2 deaths. Fast forward to April. Blae Taylor case. Jade's best friend, Blae's mother, and other witnesses speak during a bond hearing. And so this is Jade, and she's happy about being pregnant. She's holding her ice cream and the sonogram pictures. I'm sorry, the ultrasound pictures. And here's Blaze in his orange jumpsuit. Some of this article repeats what happened in the first article, but her friend was saying, my drink tasted funny. I can't even walk straight. You did this to do something to the baby. All right, it says, on Thursday, the defense argued there's not enough evidence to convict Blaze, while the state and the homicide detectives Adam Reese countered this was premeditated. It appeared there had been some cleanup done, said Reese, explaining a cup that was in front of Jade in a photo went missing when he was at the scene. So he was trying to clean up his mess. It's not a spur-of-the-moment type of thing to put drugs in someone's beverage. Blaze's mother, Evelyn Taylor, took to the stand later to delineate Blaze's past. She said he never got in any trouble and was generally upstanding in society. He has not had any legal problems, no arrests. However, in speaking with her, the state finds Blaze may not have let his family know how serious Jade's condition was when she went to the hospital. When he calls his mother to tell his mother this information, the only information he gives her is that Jade Benning has COVID. All right, the judge didn't set a bond yet. He said that the next court date for Blaze will be May 9th, and we certainly will be watching. And once again, like I said, this is another example. This is example 16,477 of why women are choosing the bear over these non-bears. So this is the next example. This man, this non-bear, tried to unalive his wife. He dug a hole, he attacked her, pushed her into the dirt, and tried to cover her up. I don't know why this article or this graphic mentions an Apple Watch, because I'm going to play the video that is connected with this, and it does not mention an Apple Watch and how she got away. But the wife did get away. This man is going to jail, but it's another example of a husband, a significant other of someone attacking. But people still expect women to pair up with these folks. People still expect women to have babies with these people when these non-bears are steadily attempting or successfully taking out women. All right, here's the video that is attached to this news story.
A Thurston County judge sentenced Che On to nearly 14 years in prison. On apologized for what prosecutors have described as an attempt to bury his wife alive.
He digged the ground and he threw me in the hole.
She's convinced her husband took her to the woods to leave her to die.
Several times he poured dirt on me.
The woman did not want her face shown as she described for the judge, through an interpreter, what her husband, Che On, did to her.
He stabbed me several times with his knife on my chest, and then he buried me alive.
They had been estranged in October of 2022 when the wife says her husband kidnapped her from their home in Lacey and took her to a remote part of the county.
I told him to think about our children, and he said, I don't need anything. Today, I'm going to kill you.
I don't remember
A Thurston County judge sentenced
everything I did, but I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for what I did.
On pleaded guilty to attempted murder. He says he snapped while suffering from PTSD after a 30-plus year military career. His defense attorney says On tried drowning and hanging himself after leaving his wife in the hole.
The police.
Mr. On, I'm going to have you stop for a moment.
On's apology was interrupted when his wife, who had been crying, appeared to have trouble breathing, requiring a visit from paramedics. After a brief delay, On said he was sorry for the pain he had caused her and their 2 children.
And I cry many times in jail, more than I cry all my life. I cry not because I was in jail, but because my family fell apart.
Judge Mary Sue Wilson gave On the maximum, just under 14 years, for causing what the judge called immense suffering. She hoped the sentence would provide the wife with some closure.
Everything I did.
You are strong and you are brave.
Nobody can take away my life, my precious life.
Along with that almost 14-year prison sentence, when he is released, Mr. On will no longer be able to own a firearm, and he cannot have any contact with his wife as long as he is alive. In Olympia, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
You are
Okay, jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about these two stories. And don't forget to like, comment, and share.
This Instagram influencer was found mutilated at her boyfriend's home. In July of this year, 21-year-old Augusta Assidian was found killed by her boyfriend of 3 years, Benjamin Best, aka Killa Boy. On July 11th, Augusta called her mom to tell her that her and her boyfriend had gotten into an argument. A couple of days passed by and Augusta's mother is unable to get in contact with her or Benjamin, so she contacts her daughter's roommate, and her roommate basically directing her to his home in Lagos, Nigeria. When she arrived to his home, Augusta's car was parked in the front, but the apartment door was locked. Detectives visited the scene and the door had to be forced open. They discovered Augusta's lifeless body with her private parts chopped off, lying in a pool of her own blood. Marks of violence and signs of struggle were detected on her body. Once her body was discovered, Benjamin had confessed to the crimes on his Instagram stories. In a series of Instagram stories, he claimed that he did not mean to kill her, he did not mean to take off her private parts, it was on accident, and he felt really bad for what he had did, and he was going to turn himself in. As the days were passing by, Benjamin still did not turn himself in, and it seemed like the police department went quiet on the case. Augusta's mother broke her silence after the burial, stating that she wanted justice for her daughter since her killer was still walking free. Once Benjamin had found out about this, he started trash-talking Augusta's mom on Instagram stories, stating that she was evil and that if it wasn't for her, Augusta would be alive. He also claimed that her mom was the reason that they had problems in their relationship, but honestly, I think he was just looking for someone else to blame. On October 20th, Benjamin was finally arrested at a nightclub after changing his name and passport with a new identity.
Hey guys, what's going on? Here's an update on the Shanae Smith and Kyrie Scholes' case. Shanae Smith is the young woman that was unalived in an apartment that she shared with her boyfriend, Kyrie Scholes. Kyrie Scholes was the one who unalived her with a single GSW. Okay, so on Friday in DeKalb County, there was a decomposed body of a black male, which was found deep in the bushes behind his mother's house in DeKalb County, Georgia. Sources have confirmed that it was 24-year-old Kyrie Scholes with a single GSW to the head, which was self-inflicted. Neighbors and relatives that lived at his mom's house began to smell a foul odor in the past couple of days. The scent became stronger as the days went by, causing the residents to search the area, and that's when they found his body. Scholes' mother positively identified the body to be that of her son. The coroner will do the autopsy to let us know the true cause of death as well as how long he has been dead. In the aftermath of Shanae Smith's death, Scholes reportedly called the mother of the deceased in Jamaica, as well as his own mother who lived in the same neighborhood, telling them that he regrettably unalived his high school sweetheart. But you unalive yourself so you don't have to suffer the consequences. I spoke with Shanae's cousin this morning, and she said the family do have closure now, but he took the punk way out. Prayer for Shanae Smith's family. As I get more information, I will definitely let you guys know. But until next video, I'm out.
Ramaya Griffin's sister tells us that suspect Adeline Atongwa actually attended Ramaya's funeral and, in her view, has been trying to garner sympathy for others. Ramaya's sister Mariah says that she now sees this as all some sort of cover.
I felt angry because, like I said, you knew what you did, and for you to reach out, it's like, what are you trying to cover? You thought that you were going to get away with killing my sister?
Mariah Griffin says her sister Remy and Adeline Atongwa were together about 4 years. In this picture, the two expecting parents were all smiles. Sometime after their daughter was born, they separated, yet maintained what Mariah thought was a civil relationship in the spirit of co-parenting.
What happens behind closed doors really don't get spoke of much, but you know, there were some things that I've heard, and it, kind of raised an eyebrow.
Mariah described Atongwa as a shady person and controlling, but she respected the fact that her sister still had love for him. And the night she found out Remy had been killed, Mariah said Atongwa needed to know as soon as possible.
He was sounding normal, so in my head, I'm like, he doesn't know what happened. So I didn't want to be the one to tell him what happened. Looking back, it's like he knew what happened.
The news of Atongwa's arrest reached Mariah today as she and her mom were on their way to a custody hearing for Remy's daughter. Now Mariah's even more determined to ensure her niece is placed in the right home, one that is a reflection of the love Remy embodied.
She was the one you would call when you needed help, when you needed a shoulder to cry on. She was the one. We have part of our justice, but we didn't get all of it yet.
The 22-year-old Atongwa is in the Allegheny County Jail tonight pending preliminary arraignment. In addition to being charged with criminal homicide, he's also charged with endangering the welfare of a child.
They killed an innocent woman for drugs and money. Monique's boyfriend was a drug dealer who owed $5,000 in debt. One day, Monique received a call from a client and rushed over, but she didn't know it was a trap. On the way, Monique was kidnapped and they forced her boyfriend to pay up. But to her surprise, her boyfriend didn't care about her life or death. So they raped her and then brutally murdered her. As they were about to escape, they were caught by the police. In court, Monique's mother cried and said,
"Monique did not have to die. I didn't have to throw her out like she was garbage either. My baby was so precious to me, to all of us. And I'm asking you, Your Honor, to please use your power to make sure they spend the rest of their miserable, insignificant lives in prison."
I hate you guys had to go through this, and I will always pray that the truth comes out.
Because justice wasn't served. They didn't prove that nothing to do with me with this shit.
I do think they proved it. The jury thought they proved it. I think they did quite a good job of proving it, as a matter of fact.
Judge Peter Cahill didn't waver when he handed down the mandatory life sentence.
There will be no possibility of release.
You can't get rid of me, bitch. No.
This is the story of Kelvi McCrae, a bright and promising 18-year-old from West Palm Beach. Kelvi was entangled in a tumultuous relationship with Kayshawn Shaw, her ex-boyfriend. Little did she know, her chaotic relationship could lead her life to a tragic end. Kelvi's life was cut short in a moment of senseless violence. Kelvi tried to get help from police because her ex-boyfriend refused to take no for an answer. The shocking turn of events not only ended Kelvi's young life, but also left her family, friends, and community grappling with the profound loss of such a vibrant soul. Family highlighted her entrepreneurial spirit and dedication to her studies. She was pursuing a career in cosmetology and had already established her own hairstyling business. In McCrae's life, there was a pivotal figure, Kayshawn Shaw. Kelvi, who was 18, had let her 19-year-old boyfriend move in with her. Kelvi and Kayshawn had been in a relationship that had turned tumultuous and ultimately led to their breakup in January 2024. When the relationship ended, Kelvi allowed Kayshawn to keep living at her place because he had nowhere else to go. But when Kayshawn threatened Kelvi with a gun, she told him he had to leave. Kelvi went to the police and tried to get help. She posted video on social media of what Kayshawn did to her car.
Ever told a nigga that you ain't want to be with them no more? This what the happened. Mind you, I just got my fucking car fixed.
She even posted a picture of Kayshawn with the caption, "If anything happens to me, this idiot did it." She even had video of him following her as she was leaving home. She looked extremely upset. She captioned the video, "Scariest moment of my life." Right before this, he told me he was going to shoot me if I didn't take him back. As she was leaving, Kayshawn could be seen jumping on her car in an attempt to prevent her from leaving. She showed this video evidence to the police and they still did nothing. On the tragic night of March 6, 2024, in the Lake Mangonia neighborhood near Gaines Park, West Palm Beach, Kelvi McCrae's life came to a devastating end. Kelvi, an 18-year-old woman with a promising future, was spending her evening at home when her ex-boyfriend, Kayshawn Shaw, committed a heinous act of violence. Kelvi was on a FaceTime call with friends, innocently eating dinner, when Shaw entered her residence and shot her multiple times. The brutal attack left Kelvi with gunshot wounds to her head, neck, and back. Kelvi's friends, who were on a video call, witnessed the horrifying incident and immediately alerted authorities. The incident unfolded around 9:40 p.m., shocking neighbors who also heard the gunshots. Neighbors immediately called 911. Police arrived at the scene and discovered Kelvi's lifeless body and Shaw with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Despite their efforts to save her, Kelvi succumbed to her injuries shortly after being rushed to St. Mary's Medical Center. Kelvi's relationship with Shaw had ended, but he continued to live in her home. Reportedly, he had nowhere else to go. The situation escalated when Kelvi attempted to move on from the relationship, leading to a confrontation between the two. Prior to the fatal shooting, Shaw had been issued a warrant for aggravated assault with a firearm and domestic battery by strangulation after threatening Kelvi with a gun. The tension between them reached its tragic climax when Shaw took Kelvi's life before turning the gun on himself. The legal proceedings surrounding the case were swift yet grim. Shaw, initially charged with first-degree murder, was hospitalized due to his self-inflicted gunshot wound. Despite efforts to save him, Shaw passed away from his injuries the following afternoon, bringing a tragic end to the investigation.
Kelvi McCrae's ex-boyfriend killed her and then himself.
Yeah, this family is showing remarkable strength, Felicia. They tell me they will not spend one moment mourning Kelvi McCrae's death. They say they will instead focus all their energies on celebrating her life.
Kelvi was a beautiful young soul. You know, she was as intelligent as she was beautiful.
Kelvi McCrae's family says the 18-year-old had a bright future.
Wow, Rych Babes. Like, when I say I pick the bear over the man every time if I'm stuck in the woods, I'm picking the bear because at least the bear is predictable. Like, I know if you're trying to eat me, like, clearly, but a man is very tricky. And I'm not trying to put fear into anybody's heart when it comes to, you know, men or whatever, because there's still some great men out there. Let's keep it real. But this, again, is just a lesson to be learned because I've had so many different situations as I'm going through the videos and remembering, like, there was a time in high school. It was literally final days and before we graduate from high school. And it was at the time we were doing our senior dues. And my friend, she didn't come to school the next day that the dues, you know, that the senior dues were due. And so finding out that her mother just got unalived by her mother's boyfriend the night before. So what happened was they was arguing. My friend's room was next door. So the mother and the boyfriend was arguing. The boyfriend unalived the mother literally the next room over. So she heard her mother pass away in an instant. Then he walked into her room, okay, and he pointed it at her, and by the grace of God, he didn't. He decided to walk back into the bedroom where the mother was literally gone, and he unalived himself. And so she literally had to hear that. Wow. She's doing great now, but she, you know, it's really sad. It's really, really sad that women have to go through stuff like this. It's just really sad. And even with my ex-husband, he would always, like, when I had found him doing, like, he would always threaten, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And I'm just like, yeah, I need to go. Thank God, you know, nothing had happened, but still, it's like, now since I know better, I'm doing better. And so I know I'm ranting, but let's get into the signs. Here's some red flags to keep an eye on. Number 1, extreme possessiveness or jealousy. If he consistently monitoring your phone, asking for your passwords, or getting jealous for every interaction you're having, that's not love, that's control. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, that's so cute, he just really loved me. No, that is control. That man got an issue. Number 2 is unpredictable anger or mood swings. Does he have a quick temper, or do you feel like you're always walking on eggshells? If you never know what might set him off, that could be a warning sign as well. Number 3 is threats and manipulation. If he ever threatens you, whether it's directly or indirectly, please take this seriously. It might sound like a joke or something said in a heat of moment, but it's not. This is especially true if he talks about not, quote unquote, not being able to live without you, or hinting at hurting himself or you. Wow. Number 4 is isolation tactics. Does he try to keep you away from friends and family? Isolation is a common tactic to control and weaken you, making you feel like he's the only one that you have. Number 5 is previous violent behavior in history. Now, I understand, ladies, that back then we was loving the hood dudes, and we thought it was so cute to be, you know, around all of that. But as you getting older, and I'm hoping that we've learned from that, it's not cute. It's not cute at all. Has he shown signs of violence before? Maybe he punched a wall, hurt an animal, or talked about past violent behaviors. If he has a history, please take that seriously. Histories definitely repeat itself. Remember that. And number 6 is unwillingness to accept no. Does he push your boundaries? Even in small ways. If he refuses to accept your boundaries, this could escalate into something more dangerous. When I'm going through these signs, Rych Babes, I'm just sitting up here thanking God, because when I was going through my marriage, there were definitely a couple of signs, and I'm like, the guy definitely punched the wall a couple of times. He definitely threatened to unalive himself a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. Like, thank God he delivered me from this situation. You know what I'm saying? So, whew. So, Rych Babes, how to protect yourself. If you're seeing any of these signs, it's time to take action. Number 1, confide in someone that you trust. Tell a friend, a family member, or a professional what's going on. Never keep these things to yourself. Number 2 is create a safety plan. Know where you're gonna go if you have to leave quickly. Have a bag packed with essentials, copies of important documents, and some cash. Number 3 is reach out to a domestic violence hotline. They can provide some guidance, reassurance, resources, and support. You're never alone in this. Number 4 is trust your instinct. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't ignore your intuition. We talked about that. You're not overreacting. You're protecting yourself. And number 5 is get professional help. A therapist and a counselor can provide tools and strategies to deal with a potential dangerous relationship. I remember a time when I was definitely over it, and I was like, I'm ready to go, and in my marriage and stuff like that, and I just abruptly left. And coming to find out, after going through talking to a counselor, they was like, you're in a domestic violence. And I was like, no, he never put his hands on me. But they was like, yeah, but you have other like signs that you're in domestic violence. And I was like, are you kidding me? I cannot believe that I'm in a domestic violence relationship in my marriage. So I'm telling you, when I got professional help to kind of like talk to somebody about the things that was going on, that really helped me understand that it's time for me to go. It's time for me to go. So Rych Babes, your safety and your well-being are the most important things in this world. Don't ever feel like you have to stay in a relationship that feels unsafe. Always trust your gut. Look out for these signs and remember that you deserve to be loved, respected, and safe. Okay? A rich girl's glow up is all about all the glitter, and it's all about the other things too that needs to talk about, like this conversation. So stay safe, stay strong, and always remember that you are worth protecting. Black women, you are so worth protecting. I'm gonna do a poll on the bear. I'm gonna do a poll on the bear. So please share this video with any woman who might need to hear this. And please, if you or anyone know that might be in immediate danger, please call emergency services. So if you want more content like this, just let me know down in the box, down in the description box, and just make sure that you subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and also check out my website, Rich Milan Co. I have it down underneath this video, so you can't just unsee it, because I know you see it, okay? And the 75% off discount is ending at the end of the day. So if you have not grabbed the 75% off automatic discount that you will see at the checkout, you're missing out, babes. You're missing out. So again, I love y'all. Stay safe and stay rich.